too much of your time today. I'm going to show you some really good tools, remind you of some important things to keep you ethical, and just really get your brain running as far as looking at a different niche that maybe you haven't thought of before. So today we're talking about FSBOs, our for sale by owners. And if you are new or trying to break into a new market, maybe you just need a refresher, this will help you a lot. Has anybody on the call, have you guys gone after for sale by owners at all yet, or looked into it? Where are you at with that market?
Yeah, I've looked into a few of them. I've talked to a few people and seen, trying to get them to come over. I haven't won anybody over yet, but I think that's one of the ways I could try to break in to get some people on board.
Absolutely. And Candy, it looks like you were saying you haven't done for sale by owners at all. Oh, great. That's actually awesome.
I've left that in Troy's court.
Yeah.
He's been messing with that.
Yeah. Troy has that personality though, where I could really see him fitting into the for sale by owners and the expireds, and because it's a little bit more difficult to get into. So it's not like you're just going somewhere and you're buying leads or you're getting leads and you know that they're interested. These are people that you have to consistently try to win over. They are already kind of stuck in the mud with their ways as far as I don't want to pay a realtor's commission. There's a reason that they felt confident enough to put that sign in their front yard or to put their home on the market without listing listing with a realtor. It's not really that they don't know that we exist. People know what realtors are. They just have some kind of preset notion that they don't need us, whether it's because it's going to cost them commission or they think it's easy. So it's up to us as realtors to inform them and educate them why having a realtor is going to be their best bet, how it's going to actually save them money, because we'll help them with negotiations, even though they have to pay a 5, 6, 7 or whatever percentage commission. We're going to negotiate to get them more money, and they're actually going to get more back in their pocket, and then they're going to be able to feel more confident and feel safer with their decisions as we help them with the transaction on both ends. So a lot of your meat as far as having conversations with for sale by owners isn't about oh, hey, did you know that there are realtors that can do this for you? Well, no duh. Okay, but what they don't know is what we do for them every day, how we help them. And I don't want to use the words how we protect them, because that brings in liability, but how we're going to protect what their best bet is and what the knowledge is that they don't have. So just keep that in mind, because today we're going to talk a lot about how to get into hands of for sale by owners. But keep in mind, when you're talking with people, a lot of people it's how do you start? Where do you start? It's so awkward. You need to just start thinking about, we're going to provide you with a lot of letters, but start thinking about why you're so important to somebody who is just not educated on what a realtor does, because that's all that it comes down to. Okay. So, to start the whole process, back in the day, what you used to do is drive around town and look for those lovely for sale by owner signs. And that's kind of the process. A lot of people who used to like to go and just door knock, they would get really excited to find the for sale by owner signs. So it would kind of be like two birds, one stone. You wouldn't just drive around looking for the FSBO signs, but you would go around door knocking and hope to find a FSBO sign. Nowadays, we have lovely technology, so that makes our process a lot easier. First and foremost, if you see a for sale by owner sign, whether it's your niche or not, and it's in your neighborhood, you best be calling that person, because one, it irks all of us to see a for sale by owner sign in our own neighborhood, but other realtors are going to go after them. And that for sale by owner sign is eventually, when it does not sell, it's going to turn into, I don't know, another company sign. And then every morning you're going to have to wake up and look out your window or drive past another company sign of your neighbors. So let's get to them before somebody else does. But if you really want to break into this niche and work on for sale by owners wholeheartedly, there's a lot of ways to do this on the internet. And you used to have to pay a lot of money to get access to for sale by owner data, but it's become very common now, and a lot of programs are trying to encourage for sale by owners, which for us we don't like, but it's great for gaining the data for free. So first and foremost, I'm going to start sharing my screen, and we are going to look at Zillow. So I'm going to move this.
Maybe not.
What?
Zillow realizes the importance of for sale by owners.
Yes.
What did you say, JJ? I didn't hear. What?
All I was saying, Zillow sees the importance of for sale by owners. Uh-oh, we're having all kinds of feedback.
Your mic is not working.
Is that maybe?
Close the door, maybe that'll help.
I'll shut up.
You don't have to shut up. Your mic just makes you sound like, I don't know, you're some kind of ghost in the distance or something. It was very creepy.
Is that any better?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so out here on Zillow, if you were as a customer to search, but now we're going to use it as a realtor as well, don't sign into your realtor portal for Zillow and Trulia or anything like that. Just come over here to buy. You can go look at homes for sale. You can look at foreclosures. You can look at different things, but we don't use that because we're realtors and we use the MLS. But what we need right here is for sale by owners. So this stuff is where owners can come in now and they can punch in their own homes and list their home on Zillow. I've heard a lot of realtors like kind of freaking out and complaining. They've come to me a lot saying, Joanna, did you know that people can list their own homes on Zillow? What are we going to do? Well, it's the same as before. People used to freak out because homeowners could put their own signs in their yard. But yet here we still are as realtors helping people through the home buying and home owning process. It's going to be the same thing. It's not going to sell as fast. People are going to be a little confused. They're going to need a realtor to help them through the transaction, through the paperwork, through the closing and all of that. I actually am really excited that Zillow put this feature out here because now I don't have to drive around a neighborhood looking for sale by owners. I can go right here onto Zillow and look up all of these lovely people that I know are ready to sell their homes. And this right here where it's a sponsor, that's not a for sale by owner. It's just an ad in case those confuse you. But we can come right out here and look at all these lovely people that are ready to sell their homes. We know they want to sell their homes. They've got it listed for sale. We don't have to talk them into selling their homes. We just have to talk them into and educate them on why realtors are important. So if you wanted to work a certain neighborhood, maybe you're just farming in a certain area and you want to add FSBOs into just your niche area, or if you want to do all of the FSBOs, you love working with FSBOs and you want to do it across Fort Myers, you can narrow it down with all of your search criteria up here. If you are willing to work anything, just leave it the way it is. If you really just want to work a certain area, go ahead and take it down. If you want to just do single family homes, you don't want to do manufacturers, maybe you hate condos. I personally don't like condos. You don't want to do lot and lands. Maybe you want to leave townhomes. Maybe you don't. We're just going to take this way down and you can click done. So you can search out here just like any consumer would search. But what we want to do is find the house that we want to work and what customers we want to work with. What career do you get to choose your customers, right? So we're going to go ahead and click on a listing. Let's say this is everything that we want. We're just going to go through all of these different homes and we're going to start clicking through. We've got it listed for Fort Myers. So once you click on the listing and it loads, it's going to bring you into the preview window. You can look at all the photos that the homeowner has uploaded so you can start to get an idea of what conversations you want to have with them. Maybe you want to advise them to do some lawn work, send out a professional photographer. This one looks like it might be, no, it's this, the lawn is cut in this photo and not in this photo. It does look like there's a notice on the door. Who knows? It could be almost in foreclosure or something.
I actually called on this one for one of my investors.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So you got the in on this information.
Yeah, I don't know if it says in here, but in the remarks, it was enter at your own risk.
Yeah. So, and it looks like I'm actually going, yeah, so that's a more so of a condemned notice. And I am just moving your guys' pictures around. So excuse me while my mouse goes all over the screen. I'm going to go back here and double check. As you're changing stuff around, sometimes this stuff changes. Make sure that it doesn't have anything that's by agent. But if you wanted to, you could take out the foreclosures and pre-foreclosures. If you're not comfortable working that market, go ahead and take that out and refine your search some more. And then you can find things that are just regular listings. If you are going after the pre-foreclosure properties, then by all means, click those if that's your new niche. So you'll start to find more things. Like I said, this will give you an idea of what to start talking to the consumer on the phone about. What's great about this is before technology and we were driving around looking at all of these different real estate signs, the for sale by owner signs in the front yard, you couldn't really get an idea of what you wanted to start talking to the consumer about if you wanted to talk about their home. But now where it's online, I mean, come on, this person didn't put any photos, so you can talk to them about that. But a lot of the consumers have put photos in here. So you have an idea of what the home looks like. You can educatively talk to them about what their home is going to be worth, whether it's going to be towards the lower end, the higher end. And what's great is the first talking point with this person would be professional photos and how it's going to help them sell their listing. So at the bottom of these, you want to scroll all the way down and then you go back up slightly. It will tell you who has it listed. So this person, it just says provided by owner. They didn't put their name in, but we can get the name from the tax roll, easy peasy. But it's got a phone number right here. So I didn't have to pay anything for this. And I've got a phone number that I can call. I can talk to them about different things. We're going to go, I've got some material for you guys as far as letters and conversation pieces. But back in the day, we used to have, I always say back in the day, but it was like 5 years ago. We used to have to pay to get a lot of this information, to get things scrubbed. And with some of the listings, you're going to have emails, and some of them, it's just going to be phone numbers. So it's based on what information the for sale by owner has put out there. Either way, it's wonderful because we used to just have the addresses and only be able to send letters and have no way of contacting them unless we paid big bucks to access that information. Okay. Anybody have any questions about how to find the listing information on Zillow? Okay, so my other piece of advice here on Zillow would be if you are really either going after FSBOs or if you are working a particular market. For example, if you are in a specific neighborhood and you're farming that neighborhood, whether it be the current people living there that don't know that they want to move yet and you're going to convince them to move, or the for sale by owners, go ahead and set yourself up as a consumer on Zillow as if you were looking to buy a house, and set yourself up for alerts, especially at least in the least just for your own neighborhood, so you don't have to find somebody else's sign in your neighborhood. Set yourself up so you can see here as I was refining, I'm gonna put a zip code in here just so that it refines it a little bit more. I had in here under the for sale button, we had the for sale by owner. I didn't want any of the foreclosures or bankruptcies, so I unclicked those. You know, you come through, and whenever you're done and you've got the ideal place, the ideal area that you want, let's switch this back to Fort Myers. I put too many things in here while talking to you guys. So once you've got what you want in your search criteria, if you click saved search, it'll have you set up a login, and I'm going to sign in really quick because I already have a profile from earlier, and it will work just like MLS as far as we can set up if we want instant or we want daily results. So as for sale by owners come on here and they enter stuff, you can get an instant alert, or you can just get a daily digest version of it. So depending on what you're doing for your marketing, how you want to work this. Typically, people who work for sale by owners, I know they take a chunk out of their day for making phone calls or working on, whether it's an hour to 2 hours. So each day you can come out here to your daily digest email that you'll get from Zillow. You can go through and see make sure, I used to keep a spreadsheet just because people would relist stuff a lot because they thought it would they think it's like Craigslist and it puts it at the top of the list and it doesn't. So you don't want to double call anybody, but just take a chunk out of your day, look at what new listings there are and either, give them a call, give them an email, whatever information you can get from them, and just make it a regular part of your day. Now we're going to go over a few more other pieces of tech that will help you get information, but then we're also going to cover follow-up. So once you've gained this information, you've set it up so it alerts you daily. That's great. You're getting an alert that's going to tell you that there's new information out there, but make sure you have a system in place that alerts you to follow up with that person, because I can promise you with FSBOs, you're going to get a lot of no's. They're very confident in the fact that they're going to sell this without a realtor and they don't need you. But they're going to learn very quickly that they do need you, and they're going to get disheartened very fast. So on that first day, you're going to get a no, but you are going to be the first person that called them. So when you call them in 5 days and they're a little bit more disheartened, they'll remember you and they'll be a little bit more willing to talk. Yes, JJ.
I was wondering if you're going to cover the drip campaign in app files.
Yes. Yep.
Oh.
Yes. So anyway, so with Zillow, you can go ahead and just set yourself up like a customer, so that way you get alerts and you'll get access to all of that information right away when people start to list stuff. The next source for gaining information is FSBonanza.com. Whenever I say it really fast, it comes out like FSBonanza. FSBonanza.com. So this is free FSBO data. Some of this will be pulled from Zillow as well. The reason I like to use Zillow instead of just going right to FSBonanza is I like to set myself up on the alert system with Zillow. But if you wanted to come out here and just look stuff up each day, depending on what type of personality you have, depends on what system you're going to want to use. So right away, they're just going to ask you to enter your email, because they're going to mark it to you. But hey, you can send me all the emails you want. I will click delete all I want if you're going to give me free data, right? Something I don't have to pay for. You can spam me. So once you put in your email, it's going to ask you for a zip code. So we're going to put in 33906. We can say 5-mile radius. We can say 10-mile radius. We can say 15-mile radius. I'm just going to leave it at 5 for right now. And you're going to click search. So this will take a few moments, and what it's going to do is pull data for us from lots of different areas. I read an article on this guy before. It pulls from Craigslist, it pulls from Zillow, it pulls from every site that allows people to post listings that are not, and it scrubs it against MLS. It's really crazy. They do it for free because they put ads on here, but I really don't know how they're making that much money. So they have it all scrubbed, and then they'll provide you as much information as they can gain. So with most of these, where it says not provided, that is just the name of the person who posted it. Most of these actually are phone numbers versus emails. I think phone numbers are better because we're going to go through the follow-up here in a few minutes, and we've got lots of information for letters to send them, because if something's listed for sale, you want to start dripping on them and sending them letters. But now you can follow up with phone calls without having to pay for it. And the phone numbers, those are the big ticket items that people have always paid money to get is the phone numbers. So if you scroll through here, it'll show the address. It's going to show what it's listed for. It gives a little bit of detail. It gives the phone number. Let's scroll. You can see here this person posted their name. So it's on there. Again, if you don't see a name, that's not a big deal. We have access to the tax rolls. And this isn't so much about convenience, it's about being free. So people pay hundreds of dollars a month for this kind of information. So if you've got this tab open on your computer, you've got LIPA open on a separate tab, that's only 2 windows that you're using to gain information to have a phone call with somebody who wants to sell their home. I think that's a total win. So what's great is you can scroll through. There's a lot of listings on here. Like, guys, these were posted today. You can see the date here to the side, 9/9/2020. Can we talk about the fact that if you took 2 hours out of each day, you could call all of these people It just goes on and on and on and on and on. So, but you could spend 2 hours calling these people and have made 40 new contacts, even if you're just leaving voicemails, because, you know, they do get a good amount of phone calls, but you've made 40 new contacts. You've got 40 new people to follow up with. Your chances have increased that much more of getting a listing. I know, Steve, you were talking about earlier, you've got 2 for sale by owners that you're making really good, solid relationships with and trying to get them to warm up. So it's hard for sale by owners. It's not like you're just going to go talk to them, and it's not like it's a listing presentation where you're just going to get it or somebody else is going to get it. Like I said, they're very stuck in their ways, but the more people you talk to, the more you increase your ratio of getting an actual listing. So this is going to help with that productivity of getting more people into your database so that you can eventually get more listings. For a lot of people that I've seen that started with FSBOs, it was within, 2 months that they started seeing a good amount of return. Some people like right away within a month. Lately, the market's really hot. So people are getting excited and thinking that they can do this without a realtor because they're seeing things are getting listed and within 24 hours, they're going under contract. Here's the thing. We're not seeing that happen with FSBOs. We're seeing that happening with our MLS listings. So if you do some market research and do some data research for whatever area you want to work in, whatever neighborhood you want to work in, you throw those stats at them. It's going to help your case a little bit, aside from informing them why they need a realtor. Talk to them about what days on market are for sale by owners versus an MLS listing. That is going to be your key argument at this point, because like I said, in Cape Coral, the 250 range, 24 to 48 hours before it's under contract. And we're talking multiple offers. And I'm sorry, Mr. Seller, have you ever been in a multiple offer situation? Do you know how to handle that? Are you going to need assistance with that? They probably haven't even thought of it. And we're not talking about using scare tactics on these people. We're talking about just informing them of what they don't know. It's a very fine line. So those are the 2 places that are best right now to find for sale by owner information where it's free. Do you guys have any questions on how to use those 2 platforms or anything like that? You guys look pretty solid. There are a lot of other programs out there, like RedX is one of them, and other things where they'll pull all the information for you, but you do have to pay for it. And honestly, I think this is all the information that you need to get started. What Redfin does is it'll pull the information from LIPA, it'll pull the information from the listings, and some of them will pull through social media. So the only additional thing that you'll get is an email. But nobody's really checking their email anyway, because if they put their listing on Zillow, it's getting blown up by Zillow. I can promise you that. So it's best to have their phone number and to do direct mail, in my personal opinion. But if you do want to pay a little bit extra, you can go to RedX and you can get the email information. Okay, so once you've got all of this lovely information and you're starting to work it, what we have provided for you out in here in App Files is good meats, I like to call them, but it's your material. So you can just type in FSBO, and you'll see here that it pulls up a drip campaign.
Realty, this is Janet. May I help you?
Why silence you, Janet? Okay, so under here, under drip campaign, we've got a whole letter system. So this is letters 1 through 20. So if you are working on, trying to reach out to all of these FSBO people, let's say you took an hour out of your morning, you called through all of the people that have newly listed their homes today. You can look at the letters of what you might want to talk to them about, because it's good structure. It starts with, oh, hey, do you just need help handling your home? And it works the relationship all the way to the end of, hey, you might be getting frustrated because your home's still on the market, but that's okay. We're here to help. Or, halfway through it talks about, we know you're very adamant on wanting to sell your own home, but maybe can we just chat about the details of your home? Because I have buyers. It has all of those topics. So these are letters that you're going to want to send to the consumer as well, but you can make your conversations or your voicemails that you're leaving them match. It's a consistent path. There was a lot of research put into these letters as far as what a home seller goes through mentally from day one of listing their own home through all the way. We'll close this today. We'll go into the schedule. It goes to day 168. So if they're stubborn and they've held on that long, you know, it's got like an ending letter of, you know, we understand, but, you know, just remember to reach out to us. But lots of research put into these letters of what they go all the way from day 1 to day 168. So day 1 is a very soft touch of, you know, we know you're listing your own home. That's fine. I'm just reaching out to see if it's something I could put my buyers into, you know, gets them at least talking to you. Because you don't want to come up to them day 1 and be like, hey, you're not going to be able to sell your own home. Give me the listing. Let's go. That's not how the relationship works. You've got to ease them into having a conversation with you, just so that they'll remember your name and work your way to when they're at the point where it's not selling, that they will finally call you and understand that you're there to help them sell their home. So this is a lot of just a lot of topic, a lot of meat. We've got a whole folder for it. And we're going to add this video into the folder too, in case you forget any of the websites. We'll add the websites in this folder too, just to help you with FSBOs. So the last thing I want to point out is, because this information is free, I don't want you to trust that it's always scrubbed. So between FSBOnanza and Zillow, not always free, or not always scrubbed because it's free. So please remember to use the do not call directory. So donotcall.gov is where you can look stuff up. If you scroll down to the bottom of their main page for sellers and telemarketers, I know we don't like to think of ourselves as telemarketers, but that's what we're classified as when we're calling people. Go out there, sign up. If you're not already, I know first thing I did in the business was sign up for this, because I was constantly trying to pull information. And that first call that you make and somebody says, I'm on the do not call list. Do you want me to sue you? Oh God, you'll be terrified. So just give yourself a little bit more confidence when you're calling people. Put your broker at ease so that she can sleep at night, and please use the do not call list. Because there are certain ways, and JJ, I don't know if you're unmuted or not, but there are certain ways. If somebody's got something listed, you can call them and ask them about their home, but you can't just sell to them right away.
Right. You can do a survey legally if they call on that. So you can ask, you know, are you planning on selling your house in the next 6 to 12 months? Have you thought about using a realtor? You know, what's the best part of your neighborhood? Would you like?
Yeah, if they have it listed on Zillow, they are asking for phone calls.
Right. You just have to be, you still have to be careful, even though we think the world should allow us to do it. It's like when you see a sign on their in front of their house, you can't just pick up the phone and call them. If you're in front of their house and you see a sign, get out of the car and knock on the door. 95% of the realtors aren't going to knock on the door. They're going to freak out and think they can call or text the number. So get out and just knock on the door. That's always the best thing to do.
Yeah.
It's harder to say no to people if they're looking at your cute little face rather than just a voice on the phone. You know, it allows you to start taking control, if you will, of the situation and start building up relationships. Because ultimately that's what for sale by owners come down to, is building that relationship with that person through the dripping, through the talking and all of that, so that they feel confident and they like you. And then after that 45 days of dripping all over the place on them, they'll give in and say, you know what, it's just too hard to do by myself. I'm going to turn it over and let you, the expert, do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we just like to give you that information just so you can be a little bit more careful with the do not calls, because when you're paying for information, it's generally scrubbed, but since it's free, you want to look up the tax roll and make sure their name is correct. And then you want to check the do not call list, make sure they're not on there, just so you can have peace of mind. And then some tips are, if you end up going on a listing appointment with this information, do make sure you're taking the right protocol to make sure that they are the actual person that owns the home, because you don't want to be the realtor that falls for a phishing scam. You know, people list stuff on Craigslist and things like that all the time. And now where Zillow's got some security where you've got to go through some steps to get it listed. Yes, but there's still a way for the bots to get through. So if they're looking to sell a home, they're going to try to trick a realtor into selling the home too. So do make sure you're verifying identities based on the tax rolls. Just something, and you should be doing that regardless for your listings. You never know. We have had the craziest things happen. It happens. But it's just, I like to point it out with the for sale by owners, when you're pulling information from the internet, there's scammers a lot all over the internet. So do be careful and pull your information or verify their identities against the LIPA tax rolls. Okay. And what time are we at? Like I said, this is going to be a very short class. Ooh, we made it in 30 minutes. So is there anything else that you guys are using to pull information? We've got Zillow, we've got FSBonanza, and lots of marketing information there. Is there a certain area that you guys are struggling with when it comes to for sale by owners? No.
Yeah, they don't want to pay us.
Yeah. Yeah, so the beginning of the class, we talked about the fact that like they are just uneducated as far as what realtors provide. It's not that they don't know we exist. Everyone knows we exist. They just need to be educated on why it's important to pay us. Yes, JJ.
But you might find, because the market is so tight and there is this problem of supply and demand, we are finding through our office that a lot of agents are knocking on the door of the for sale by owners, and instead of getting a full-blown listing agreement, we're getting a commission agreement where they'll agree to pay us if we bring a customer in. Amanda Hines has been extremely successful with this because she's in her little geographic farm area, and there's for sale by owners out there, and obviously the market's really great. So she's competing, with the customers as well. But she's going in there, chatting with them, doing her presentation kind of stuff, and then getting them to agree to pay her, and they're paying her a full 6%. Or 7% or whatever. We're talking within our office so we can talk numbers, rather than discounting the. So think of that as an alternative as well. And if you do get a commission agreement, you show it to that one person. Now, again, you're building up that relationship with your for sale by owner. So if that deal doesn't come together, they may, again, slide over towards giving you a full listing presentation. And we have found though, some of these for sale by owners, they're like, oh, I've got customers too. So instead of the 6%, they're asking you to treat them as an outside broker. You can do it, but try to make that number better for you if you can.
Absolutely.
Is that agreement in app files somewhere?
Yes, it just search by commission, and you'll see commission agreement. It'll allow you to register a person with them, or you could just register the be a little bit more open with it. Any person I bring by, blah blah blah. But
Okay.
that a lot of trickery, and this is one thing that for sale by owners get really pissed about, is they'll say, do you have a customer for my property? Because that last realtor called and said, I've got a customer for your property, and if you list with me, I'm going to bring you the buyer in today. Most of us do not have a buyer in our back pocket. I even heard it on the radio this morning. Matt Patterson at Keller Williams, he can sell your house because he has a full database, and and if you list with him, he's got a buyer and he'll sell your house in a day. I'm like, what? So, be honest with your for sale buyer and say, well, I've got a whole database full of customers that are looking for homes. I can't guarantee you that I have a buyer, but I've got a much better opportunity to bring you a buyer than other people. And then that way they're going to feel a little bit more comfortable with you for being honest, unless you really do have a customer for the property.
Right.
Don't give them the full name. Just say John and Julie. Don't say John and Julie Smith from Spokane, Washington. Don't do that.
Especially if they're millennial. We'll find them on Facebook and we'll sell them the house directly.
Oh, yeah. We do it, right?
Yeah, Troy's been going into some of them because we've got a customer that we're working with that keeps looking at FSBOs. So he goes and previews the house for them, and then goes and tries to talk to them about the commission structure. Of course, most of the ones he's been in have been pretty crappy houses.
Yeah,
our customers didn't want them. But
that's another reason they for sale by owners, because some realtors will not take garbage houses, at the price.
Right. But I thought that was a good thing to do it.
Yeah, I found there's also issues that they don't want to disclose, and they know if they hire a realtor, it's going to be
Huge. They just forget that they have to follow the law too, but you're right.
They forget about that. They think they're going to get away.
The other thing
A reason to tell your buyers why it's so important to have a realtor as well on the other end, because the for sale by owners are pulling that crap.
And there's a list of 183 things we do as realtors. That's in files. You can go grab that and use that for a drip thing. That's always impressive. The other thing we're finding is once for sale by owners really like you and they say, okay, we want to list, but I've been showing my property and I've got about 5 people who swear they're coming and, to buy my house.
Right, an exception.
Exclude them from the listing agreement.
Yeah.
And then we panic. We get that, holy shoes, I'm going to do all this work and put out all the money and not get paid for it. What I might suggest is say, okay, we'll take your 5 names. Let's put them on the listing agreement and we're going to exclude them, but we're going to exclude them for 10 days. If these customers are really that hot, we'll allow them to come in and we'll take the risk for the first 10 days of putting money out and everything to get your house sold. And if they buy in 10 days, then we'll let you do it.
Yeah, we're finding with that as well, because they end up feeling so much more comfortable kind of putting it onto the realtor. If those people do come back, they're willing to pay half a commission to help you work the transaction anyway. They're kind of like, they get into that comfortable zone and they're like, well, could you just help us anyway? And then you end up making a percentage of a commission anyway.
Okay.
And to that point as well, with your sellers, if you start getting conversations and you actually build a relationship, because a lot of what we talked about today was just getting to the point of being able to build a relationship or get them to talk to you, you can also put those sellers, even if they're not ready to list yet, but they're chatting with you, put them in the MLS so that they can see what other homes are doing in the neighborhood or the market that they're in, because that's another consistent dripping with your branding. If you set them up just like they're a buyer, but with the criteria that fits their home, so they can see what other people are doing. They'll be impressed by like listing photos and descriptions and things like that. They'll see how fast things are going. Have it set up so it'll show them when things go pending, so they can see the movement on the MLS. They'll be more likely to want to be a part of that and get on there with you.
And if you're doing for sale by open houses, I know back in the day, right? When we do them, let them know, that you're in the neighborhood, that you're doing an open house, invite them to come and see your open house, how you do things. Again, it's a building a relationship kind of thing. And then if they get really super excited with you, but they're still not ready to list, you could offer, hold an open house for them at their own house. With no charge, Mr. Seller. I've got the signs already. I've paid for them. I'll put an ad out and I'm willing to see your house, to see if I can snag a buyer for you. And you can go and have your Sunday dinner with your friends or family or whatever like that. If they feel confident enough to leave you in their house for a couple of hours, they're going to list with you if you don't grab a buyer.
And they'll always say to you, well, what's the benefit for you? You're just trying to get my listing. What's the benefit for you? And you say, well, most people walk into an open house. They don't buy the house that they want right away. We might get one for you, which is yours completely, but I'm just looking to get buyer leads. This is how I get business. So it's a win-win for both of us.
Oh, I'm so ready to do this. Here's the keys, Joanna.
All right. But as I said, I promised I was going to keep this one short for you guys. So do you have any other questions or anything that has to do with the FSBOs?